All right, just waiting to make sure we're going, and we're live just like that. Hey friends, welcome back to High Intensity Health, to another live session. This live session is gonna be way different from all the others that we've had. As you know, on this podcast, on this platform, we've talked a lot about exercise, fat loss, the ketogenic diet, brain health. And today I just wanna share with you something that's a little bit more personal, something that I didn't want to necessarily share, not that I didn't want to withhold anything, but I feel like it's one of these topics that has been tabooed for a long time. The use of psychedelic illicit substances, they're illegal, but there's a lot of research emerging out of Johns Hopkins and other parts of the world for how psychedelics can positively affect the brain and help people overcome anxiety, depression. For me, gosh, it really helped me get a lot of clarity in my life. And I felt compelled to share this with you. So I'm just coming from the heart on this. That's what this channel is all about, is just sharing cutting edge, bleeding edge science, whether it's with another expert or things that I'm learning. And so I just hope that you listen to this with an open mind, because I know that this is out there. And maybe in 20, 30 years, we may not have a view of psychedelic mushrooms or LSD or DMT, the compound in ayahuasca and so forth. We may not have this perception that these things are so problematic because there's so much research coming out. And I'm not saying that I participated in experimenting with these things to get a high. I was literally trying to help my brain kind of become more coherent and connect with other people. And that's what I'm gonna share with you today. It's coming from the heart. As I said, just hopefully you have an honest opinion or honest view this with an open mind, right? It's different. This live is gonna be so different from what we've talked about. And I went to what inspired me to talk to you about this is a talk that I just went to on Monday. This guy, Daniel Winkler, he's from Germany, and I think he lives in Seattle now. He's got this mushroom guidebook. It's amazing, the power of mushrooms. So if you're interested, after we're done streaming this live, and I'll get to some of your questions related to keto and fat loss in just a minute, this is an awesome field guide. Should you be interested in exploring medicinal mushrooms, not just psychedelic mushrooms, but mushrooms for their ability to affect the immune system and all that. So it's kind of crazy. Just a side note, mushrooms, their GI tract is essentially on their skin. They don't have 7 cells thick of skin that we have. It's on their external surface. So their immune system and their ability to overcome pathogenic intruders and viruses and things like that is so elaborate. And that's why researchers theorize that when we ingest mushrooms, not just psychedelic mushrooms, but other mushrooms, it benefits our body. And so that's where cyclosporin comes from. This is an antibiotic derived from cordyceps, a mushroom that's given to people to affect their immune system when they're getting an organ transplant. It's really powerful. So anyway, when I was listening to this lecture and this Daniel Winkler guy talk all about lion's mane and oyster mushrooms and turkey tail and shiitake and maitake, I was like, wow, these are low carb, these are high in protein, they affect the immune system, and they affect the mind. It's really interesting. I'm like, I gotta share this with my YouTube group like you. So here we go. All right, so I've had some friends, I'm not gonna mention their names. Incidentally, all of my friends that have introduced me to these compounds live in Canada. And so I wanna thank the folks, and you know who you are if you're listening to this, for introducing me to both LSD, DMT, which is dimethyltryptamine, the compound in ayahuasca, and also psychedelic mushrooms. And I've experimented with these just on a handful of occasions, literally. Psychedelic mushrooms, 3 or 4 different times, LSD a handful of times, DMT just 1 time. And man, it's really changed my outlook on life. And I would just say that if you've ever had feelings of anxiety, stage fright, fear of public speaking, and this is the biggest one, I realize this because I was asked in the last few months to give talks on business, on setting up a YouTube channel and all that. And I've done a lot of public speaking over the course of my career. And it used to be something that was it would literally paralyze me to the point, like one time in college, I was gonna give a talk. It was in a political science class, not my forte. I was a biology major and all that sort of stuff. And so it wasn't like my wheelhouse anyway. And it was in front of this, the big auditoriums in college, and it was my turn to speak. And I was literally, my knees were shaking and no words could come out of my mouth, right? So I've come a long way. Here I am, 140 some odd thousand YouTube subscribers. I give talks all the time. But after doing a few doses of psychedelic mushrooms, and I'm growing my own, by the way, I don't want to forget that because I'm going to show you how, if you're interested in learning how to grow your own, for research purposes only, right? Not going to sell these, research purposes only. Anyway, a few doses of psychedelic mushrooms, I've been able to get up in front of groups and I'm literally not nervous at all. Like, it's crazy, guys. I'm not lying to you at all. I have no stock in mushrooms, right? I don't care what you decide to do. But that to me was like super powerful. And I had no idea that it was really the mushrooms, but it's had a huge impact because it's happened twice where I've gotten in front of groups of over 100 people. And normally, because I figured out compensatory mechanisms to overcome stage fright. So when I get up in front of groups, what I like to do, this was pre-mushroom era, right? In the last 10 years of my personal, professional career, what I would do is I would have these little tricks that I would use to make sure that I wouldn't get this stage fright. And so what I would do is ask people to move. I would get up and talk and say, who here has this feeling? Raise your hand. I'd have all these little tricks in my head based upon what the talk was about and who the audience was, about ways that I can literally overcome the fear of public speaking. And that would ease me into the talk without me freezing up. It's crazy to think about that. That's how bad it used to be for me, right? And the last 2 times that I've given talks after dosing mushrooms, I'm like, there's literally no hesitation, no nervousness, nothing. Like it was weird. Now you could say, well, Mike, you're just used to being on camera more, you're doing more interviews, you're more established, whatever it is, right? But I'm telling you, the timing of the dosing of the mushrooms and overcoming the fear of public speaking and have literally no hesitation, no jitterness, just getting up there. And the last talk that I gave, I was just walking up and down and not even left the stage. Normally, I've been so nervous that I just literally kind of stand behind the stage and try to give some sort of presence. Like, I'm not nervous, but I really am. So anyway, guys, if I can just give you one tip, obviously you have to do the work. You have to focus on whatever it is you're trying to overcome. Anxiety, depression, feelings of inadequacy, whatever it is, right? You got to do the work. But the small doses of these compounds, in my personal experience, can really fast track that. And that's what I'm here to share with you on this video. It's crazy. So if you've ever had suicidal ideations, if you ever felt anxiety, depression, things like that, and you're like at the point where you don't know if you can go through with life anymore, I'm telling you that this can be a route that just after a few micro doses can get you on the other side and be free and clear of that. So since we're streaming this live right now, I'm not editing this or whatever. I just want to make sure that we're on. I like to check into the feed. So just give me a quick second because I have not yet done that. For all I know, you can't hear me or something. I can see my audio hopefully it's working okay. I like to do these sort of real talks. Here we are. We got a bunch of you on. Dude, what's up, guys? All right, I'm so grateful that you're here. More people need to see this. Mushroom. All right, so we got people. I was so worried about, straight up, guys, for those of you that are live right now, I'm so honored that you're here. It really means a lot. Gratitude is coming from my heart right now because I was fearful of making this video for that people would downplay this, reject it, say, that's Mike, you're cheating. These are drugs that are illegal. I was just so worried about. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time is what I'm trying to say. I'm just so excited. I'm just quickly looked at the comments. You guys are fired up on this, which is crazy. And I'm fired up that you're here, man. So I'm super grateful. So again, if you're digging this content, if you like these style of videos, if you want to learn how to grow your own mushrooms or microdose LSD or just enhance your brain, hit that like button. Type in where you're from. I go back and I relook at this. I may not address all your questions right now, but it's been amazing. So, we've all been in weird spots in our life. And now as a parent, I'm 36 years old, just turned 36. I have a 6-year-old. I'm trying to be very conscious and aware of the fact that my parenting style is going to influence my daughter's entire trajectory of our life. Because unfortunately, things that our parents said or didn't say, how our siblings treated us or didn't treat us, our friends growing up, all that affects us right now, in our 30s, our 40s, 50s, 60s, and beyond. And, growing up, I had some resentment towards siblings and, things that were done to me and all that sort of stuff that I was just hanging on to. It was stupid. It was negative. It wasn't serving. And so last January, I did ayahuasca. Again, a great Canadian friend. If you're watching this right now, I'm very grateful for you, bud. I'm not going to mention their names. I don't want to get them in trouble. And literally, I'll tell you about the experience in a minute,
But right after that, my voice got deeper. It was the craziest thing ever, right? And I didn't do it to get high or anything. I knew that there was some, for me, connecting with people, like I can be outgoing and all that, but like connecting with people was tough sometimes, like really being vulnerable and saying, hey dude, come over, let's chill, let's just talk. Like I always had to do something, like let's go for a hike, let's go skiing, like with my buddies. There always had to be an event. I couldn't just sit there and like, you know, I have friends, right? But I couldn't just sit there and just like hang out, like, hey, let's talk. Let's go for a walk. How are you? Like that to me was like not really something that I could have totally done. And but now it's very doable. Now I'm able to pick up and receive people's emotions. I'm able to be vulnerable, to speak my mind much more clearly after doing I don't know if it was the ayahuasca or a few doses of LSD or a little bit of mushrooms, whatever. But literally, right after doing the ayahuasca, the DMT, which I'll tell you the experience in a minute, was crazy. Oh my God. I mean, crazy. But anyway, my voice was deeper. It was so nuts. Like, and just for fun, I'll go back and update the YouTube card here. Go back and check out so I've been doing this high intensity health channel since 2014. Go listen to my voice on some of my earlier videos. You're gonna notice that it's much more high pingy. And so that to me convinced me that the whole chakra system, which I was doubtful of, I was totally doubtful, like your heart chakra, your throat chakra, root chakra. I've been hearing about that since getting in this whole nutrition thing since 2006. And I thought that's a bunch of crap. I'm like, there's no way that's all connected. And you know, the gurus and the shamans that took me on this journey said my throat chakra, my heart chakra was really off and they could sense congestion there. And so then afterwards, independent of them saying that, the first thing I said is, wow, I feel like it's easier to talk. It's easier to speak. My throat's not congested, right? And my voice was deeper. It's crazy. Like, how can you explain that with one little bit of chemicals, dimethyltryptamine, the bioactive in ayahuasca? Now, I will just tell you straight up, ayahuasca can be scary. This was one of in my adult life, as I said, I'm 36 years old, taking ayahuasca. That 4-hour period, maybe it was 3.5 hours where really kicked in, was like I don't want to scare you, but it was probably one of the worst. It was a bad experience, just straight up. It kind of sucked. And I didn't think that I was going to come back. What I meant was, but you go into these you start to see all the different colors and shapes and geometric patterns that you will never even knew existed. And I went to this place, it was kind of a dark place. And I didn't know if I was really gonna come back, right? But then afterwards, I was really connected with people on a whole new level. It was crazy. Like, I'm talking the immediate 24, 48 hours afterwards. It was amazing. And then I kind of regressed a little bit emotionally, felt really dark, like I was clearing stuff. And that was like a very depressing 2-week period of my life. In fact, that video that I made, for those of you that have been with me for a while, this video that I made about the carnivorous diet, it was in that period. I just had this weird energy, man. I don't know how to explain it. I was like shedding stuff, according to what my friends have advised me is what kind of happens. To be honest, I didn't think I was going to make it through that period. It was so dark. Well, first of all, it was in January. January in Seattle, the end of January, historically is very wet, very rainy, very dark. So that was maybe part of it. I was going through other things, but then everything after that really crazy 2-week period. And again, for those of you that watched that carnivorous diet video, you could tell something was off. And that was right in that period. And so I'm not, providing an excuse. I'm just giving the real deal here, right? But after that 2-week period, I started to get more clear about the direction I'm going with this YouTube channel, the direction I'm going with my relationships, with my life. Like, a lot of things cleared up. And that's when I was introduced to other things like low-dose LSD and mushrooms. And to be honest, again, if you have some sort of past trauma, anxiety, depression, depersonalization, I would struggle with that intermittently off and on and so forth. Those are just totally, literally gone from my being. Literally. It's crazy, man. I know how debilitating depression can be. I know how debilitating, depersonalization can be, where literally you're having a conversation with someone and you kind of feel yourself being removed. Like, it's the weirdest thing. I've been there. Those are gone, guys. I'm telling you, literally from less than 6 doses combined, a very low dose LSD, very low dose mushroom. So, there's people struggling with PTSD, with traumatic brain injury, people that have been raped and abused and psychologically treated in a negative way, right? Like, these compounds can literally change their perception of the world around them. And so I know this content might be a little out there for some of you, but I just wanted to be totally real with you and share this live. There's no editing. This is literally being streamed live. And this can be powerful stuff, guys, because what you think manifests through your immune system via the psychoneuroimmunology. This whole field, Daniel Goleman talks about it a lot in his book, Emotional Intelligence. Literally, thoughts can affect your biology. They can affect your immune system. And if there's just a natural compound or LSD, maybe a synthetic compound, if used properly in low doses, not abused, if that can change someone's neurobiology, which will affect their endocrinology and their immune system and their disease predisposition, why are we holding that back from people? And so that's what this is about. I just wanted to, come on. I'm gonna get to your comments very soon. If you're interested in learning more about mushrooms, I think that's a great place to start. Again, and let me just say, I'm not an expert on any of these topics at all. I could answer any questions you have on the ketogenic diet, building muscle, burning fat, enhancing sleep, gut health, right? Those are my wheelhouse. Psychedelic stuff. There's people out there that know way more than me. I'm just giving you my personal experience, and I just want to share this with you because winter's coming on, the holidays are coming on, suicide rates go through the roof during this time of year. And man, if I could help just save one person's life or help prevent one person from just going on an SSRI or an antidepressant, which, by the way, have a lot of negative and long-lasting side effects, then this video was worth my time, right? And that's what we're talking about. So where I would start, if you're interested in just dabbling, exploring, learning about mushrooms, learning about LSD, I would start by getting a field guide like this. I have no financial affiliation. Again, it's by Daniel Winkler. It's called Medicinal Mushrooms of the Pacific Northwest. I think he has one for the Northeast as well. And this guy knows mushrooms. He's been foraging for mushrooms since he was like 12 years old in Germany. Such a great guy. I mean, it was amazing. So this talk, again, really opened my eyes about the medicinal benefits of mushrooms. And I think is it Paul Samet? He was on Joe Rogan's channel about a year ago. He's also in the Northwest. I'm planning on getting him on the podcast. Haven't emailed him yet. Been trying to manifest this thing. But, his theory on mushrooms and their innate intelligence and their immune system, it's amazing, some of the research that he's putting out there. But I would suggest, again, starting out, you're anxious, you're depressed, maybe you have public speaking issues, relationship issues, trying to overcome past trauma, past hurts, and so forth. Strongly suggest the mushrooms. And I'm talking low dose, microdosing, not going on a major trip necessarily, because, and if in your family there is a risk of schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, psychosis, things like that, you're potentially playing with fire. And so I just want to provide that caveat there that I don't know that I would dabble necessarily. If you do, dabble very low dose in a very controlled environment. Stick with mushrooms because they're the most kind of natural, if you will. They're growing from the ground. LSD, ayahuasca, DMT, that might be for people that aren't prone to that. Because there are stories of people taking DMT, going on ayahuasca journeys, and they don't come back. They're schizophrenic. They have psychotic thoughts, psychosis, and all that. And so after I did my DMT journey, probably won't do that again, to be honest, because I'm sure it did shift a lot, but that gets you deep, man. It's crazy. So just be sure on that. Just really talk to your parents, and just say, hey, did Aunt Sue, did she have schizophrenia? Like, does this run in our family? Because if it does, I definitely wouldn't go down that road. So that's just my personal, unedited, raw story. And let me see if I can grab, if you want me, I'm to show you, I'm growing some psychedelic mushrooms. Again, just to experiment, very, very low dose for research purposes only, I can assure you, in our house. And if you want to learn more about that, I'm going to document that. I'll post it in another video. Might be in our membership courses over at courses.highintensityhealth.com. I would feel more comfortable if it's behind a password there. So that's it, guys. I'm going to get to your questions. Let me just see wow, we have a bunch of questions here. Man, I just love this. Oh my gosh, dude. And we have our super chat here. Larissa Moon, thanks for that. That is really cool. Yeah, so the immune system thing is so crazy. I mean, the fact that their immune system is on their cell surface, and so they have to really be robust in their mycelium, and they outnumber the roots of trees and so forth, I think 60 to 1. It's crazy, mushrooms. But anyway, I had no idea how you guys were going to respond to this. And that's why I was like nervous. I was literally nervous. I don't usually get nervous before these lives. I was kind of nervous, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose so many subscribers. People are going to be like, Mike, you're off the deep end. And just by seeing the comments, I'm excited. So let's get to some questions. If you're here live, just hit that like button, type in where you're from. I'm going to address some of the live comments that we have right here. And so we have Larissa Moon says, hello from Montreal. Larissa, you are into mushrooms. I am super, super grateful. Thank you so much for that super chat and all that. Mark is from Toronto. As you know, I love Toronto. We've had Jason Fung and many other great people. So someone says, are you growing your own mushrooms? Yes, I am growing my own mushrooms. Hold up, let me get that to you. So, what's interesting about these, I thought I had this ready for you guys, but all right, I'm back. Hopefully you can see me. So the mycelium, so what's interesting about these mushrooms is how they grow. Is it focusing? Focus, buddy, come on. Come on, camera. Is autofocus not on? Hold on this thing. All right, there we go. Bam. All right. So what we have going on here, friends, is that's the mycelium growing on grains. And then what happens is when we eat the mushrooms, what we're actually eating is the reproductive bodies of the mushroom. So it's just the fruit. And the reproductive bodies, that's where the spores are, and then they proliferate, they send the spores out and then more mushrooms grow. So that's what this mycelium network is, where the immune system and kind of the innate intelligence of the mushroom is located. So it's super interesting stuff. Again, I don't have a lot of success yet. I mean, I just started this 3 weeks ago. I'm by no means a mushroom expert. But if they do start fruiting, I'm documenting the process. I'm going to share with you exactly how to do this. Because like I said, I'm not trying to promote people getting out there and getting high and tripping out and having all these mind-altering experiences just because they want to escape reality. I really do want to help people that have had trauma, that have been raped, that have been abused, that have been neglected, that are hurting. I want to help you, learn natural ways to perhaps rewire and hit the reset button in your brain so that you don't have to worry about that anymore. Now, again, you have to do the work. You have to do the personal development work, the affirmations. You got to work on your diet, nutrition, and all that. And that's why I think the ketogenic diet, to get to the kind of the topic that you all love to hear about, the ketogenic diet, I think it kind of hits that reset button. It really kind of helps to clear some of the mental cobwebs that a lot of us have, right? And so this metabolic therapy, I mean, it's been used in epilepsy, right? Because it changes neurotransmitter levels so that the brain is sending messages and it's not becoming overreactive and too much glutamate signaling. So that's, again, why I'm very biased about the ketogenic diet. The ketogenic diet has helped me perhaps, because I did have these lingering issues going on that I was unaware of. And so that's why I think the ketogenic diet is so popular. So let's get to your questions. I'm going to take a few of your questions here. Someone says, very, very live. Cool. Headwork says, you have to eat the stems not to be sick. That is a good tip. I did not know that. Thank you, Headwork, for sharing with that. Soul Ventures said for ultra benefits. Someone says neurological ones and so on. The Sam Barras says, have you experienced these benefits? Sam, you might have just hopped on. I did just share with you about 10 minutes ago the benefits, and I will say anxiety around public speaking, totally gone. Clarity, meaning, and purpose. Reactivity, I used to be, and I'm still a little impatient. That's something I'm working on. And I think this is a bit of a genetic thing. Again, I love my dad, I love my grandfather, but this kind of impatience, it runs in the family on the male side. And so I'm working on that, trying to have more patience, trying to be more, okay when things are going slow. I like to move fast, move quick. And I'm realizing that I'm aware of that. And it was just something that I need to work on, right? And so I have noticed that in traffic now, where I used to be flipping people off, honking the horn, it was so embarrassing. As an aside note, I can't believe I'm telling you this. one of my loyal YouTube subscribers that lives in the same town as me happened to be driving down this was like 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago, before all this stuff, right? Before mushrooms and everything. And he was going slow. I didn't know I just thought he was this person driving. So I'm like honking, like, dude, let's go. Come on, I'm honking and so forth. Anyway, later on that day, this gentleman literally sees my wife at the natural food store and was like, hey, does your husband, Mike, does he have a white truck? And she's like, yeah, he does. And she's like, oh my gosh, he was just totally honking and tailgating me and being rude and all that. So this is something that I'm working on. I don't do that anymore. When I'm driving, I'm just like, it is what it is. We're here, we're in the moment. I listen to an audiobook. So get to your questions. Someone says, those are the benefits that I've experienced. Less, impetuousness, if you will. Is that even a word? I don't know. So Headwork says, I have a degree in horticulture and know all about the reset button. Thanks for that. We have Inez and Deanna in the house. So Kara says, amazing, this video is perfectly in line with so much of the alternative health healing way. Kara, I appreciate that comment. Yeah, so guys, like I said, I'm gonna go back and relook at all these comments and see what you guys think. But if you're still here right now and you're digging this stuff and you want more, if you want me to interview people that have experience in microdosing and LSD and ayahuasca and all these things, hit that like button, type in a comment below if you're watching the replay. That will just let me know that I should actually do this. Again, because up to now, this channel's been focused largely on metabolism, endocrinology, gut health, immunology. But, like I said, if we can hit the reset button on our brains, we can all serve the world in a more meaningful and impactful manner. And that's what I really feel why we're all here on this planet to do. And that's why I have this channel. So as always, I'm just grateful that you were here, that you watched this. Hopefully you had a little bit of an open mind. Hopefully I didn't rub you the wrong way. And I'll be following your comments later. And Larissa Moon, thanks for that super chat. Man, that means a lot. Really grateful for you guys. So hope you have a great evening or morning, wherever you are in the world. I'm going to sign off, connect with the family. We're going to have some dinner, but we'll catch you on the next video. Peace.